We're going through the workbook of A Course in Miracles, doing the mind training with Jesus, learning how to judge not, how to forgive the world, how to stay in purpose, in presence, in peace, to let the love in our heart shine forth, to bless the world and everything and everyone, to remember that there is one mind and that I am an idea in the mind of God. That's what Christ is. It's not a person, a place, a thing. Jesus was a beautiful demonstration of that one mind, of that I and the Father are one, living truth and presence. So today we're on workbook lesson review. It's workbook lesson 119 for a morning and evening review. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. I am mistaken when I think I can be hurt in any way. I am God's Son, whose Christ self rests safely in the mind of God. To give and to receive are one in truth. I will forgive all things today that I may learn how to accept the truth in me and come to recognize my sinlessness. On the hour, truth will correct all errors in my mind. On the half hour, to give and to receive are one in truth. So today, to support our practice of these beautiful reminders of truth, these beautiful workbook lessons, I typed into the Course in Miracles search program the two words, give, receive. And this is what came back from Jesus. From the text, chapter 1, section 1. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as to receive. Chapter 3, section 6. Your words should reflect only mercy, because that is what you have received and that is what you should give. Chapter 5, section 4. Therefore, those who have been forgiven must devote themselves first to healing, because, having received the idea of healing, they must give it to hold it. And referring to the Holy Spirit, because he has been given you freely by God, you must give him as you received him. From chapter 7, section 5. The unhealed healer wants gratitude from his brothers, but he is not grateful to them. That is because he thinks he is giving something to them and is not receiving something equally desirable in return. His teaching is limited because he is learning so little. His healing lesson is limited by his own ingratitude, which is a lesson in sickness. True learning is constant and so vital in its power for a change that the Son of God can recognize his power in one instant and change the world in the next. That is because by changing his mind, he has changed the most powerful device that was ever given him for change. This in no way contradicts the changelessness of mind as God created it, but you think that you have changed it as long as you learn through the ego. This places you in a position of needing to learn a lesson that seems contradictory. You must learn to change your mind about your mind. Only by this can you learn that it is changeless. When you heal, that is exactly what you are learning. You are recognizing the changeless mind in your brother by realizing that he could not have changed his mind. That is how you perceive the Holy Spirit in him. It is only the Holy Spirit in him that never changes his mind. Ah, beautiful. From chapter 8, do not leave anyone without giving salvation to him and receiving it yourself. And chapter 8, section 4. Do you not think the world needs peace as much as you do? Do you not want to give it to the world as much as you want to receive it? For unless you do, you will not receive it. If you want to have it of me, you must give it. Healing does not come from anyone else. You must accept guidance from within. The guidance must be what you want, or it will be meaningless to you. That is why healing is a collaborative venture. I can tell you what to do, but you must collaborate by believing that I know what you should do. Only then will your mind choose to follow me. Without this choice, you could not be healed because you would have decided against healing, and this rejection of my decision for you makes healing impossible. Healing reflects our joint will. Chapter 9. If paying is associated with giving, it cannot be perceived as loss. It cannot be perceived as loss. And the reciprocal relationship of giving and receiving will be recognized. Interesting teaching about paying. Chapter 9, Section 2. Never forget then that you set the value on what you receive and price it by what you give. By giving, you receive. But to receive is to accept, not to get. And again, from the chapter 9, section 5, about the unhealed healer. The ego's plan for forgiveness is far more widely used than God's. This is because it is undertaken by unhealed healers and is therefore of the ego. Let us consider the unhealed healer more carefully now. By definition, he is trying to give what he has not received. If an unhealed healer is a theologian, for example, he may begin with the premise, I am a miserable sinner and so are you. If he is a psychotherapist, he is more likely to start with the equally incredible belief that attack is real for both himself and the patient, but that it does not matter for either of them. I have repeatedly said that beliefs of the ego cannot be shared, and this is why they are unreal. How then can uncovering them make them real? Every healer who searches fantasies for truth must be unhealed, because he does not know where to look for truth, and therefore does not have the answer to the problem of healing. There is an advantage to bringing nightmares into awareness, but only to teach that they are not real, and that anything they contain is meaningless. The unhealed healer cannot do this because he does not believe it. All unhealed healers follow the ego's plan for forgiveness in one form or another. If they are theologians, they are likely to condemn themselves, teach condemnation, and advocate a fearful solution. Projecting condemnation onto God, they make him appear retaliative and fear his retribution. What they have done is merely to identify with the ego, and by perceiving what it does, condemn themselves because of this confusion. It is understandable that there have been revolts against this concept, but to revolt against it is still to believe in it. Some newer forms of the ego's plan are as unhelpful as the older ones, because form does not matter and the content has not changed. In one of the newer forms, for example, a psychotherapist may interpret the ego's symbols in a nightmare and then use them to prove that the nightmare is real. Having made it real, then he attempts to dispel its effects by depreciating the importance of the dreamer. This would be a healing approach if the dreamer were also identified as unreal. Yet, if the dreamer is equated with the mind's corrective power through the Holy Spirit is denied. This is a contradiction even in the ego terms, and one which usually notes it's even in its confusion. It usually notes even in its confusion. If the way to counteract fear is to reduce the importance of the mind, how can this build ego strength? Such evident inconsistencies account for why no one has really explained what happens in psychotherapy. Nothing really does. Nothing real has happened to the unhealed healer, and he must learn from his own teaching. The ego will always seek to get something from the situation. The unhealed healer, therefore, does not know how to give and consequently cannot share. He cannot correct because he is not working correctively. He believes that it is up to him to teach the patient what is real, although he does not know it himself. So that's a great expose on the ego's plan of salvation and using theology and psychotherapy to protect itself from being uncovered as unreal. You cannot perform a miracle for yourself because miracles are a way of giving acceptance and receiving it. In time, the giving comes first, though they are simultaneous in eternity, where they cannot be separated. When you have learned they are the same, the need for time is over. So that's beautiful. You cannot perform a miracle for yourself because miracles are a way of giving acceptance and receiving it. Giving and receiving are one. That's our lesson today. To give and to receive are one in truth. And truth will correct all errors in my mind. So let's turn to a beautiful song from Aman Ashanti as another beautiful reminder of our review lessons today. This song is called Give Your Miracle.
You understand that you are healed when you give healing. You see forgiveness as accomplished in yourself when you forgive. You recognize your brother as yourself, and thus do you perceive that you are whole, that you are whole. There is no miracle you cannot give, for all are given you. Receive them now by opening the storehouse of your mind, where they are laid. Give them away. Give them away. You have your Father's love. Behold his gift to you. Accept give it to His Son. The world believes that to possess a thing, it must be kept. Salvation teaches otherwise. To give is how to recognize you have received. To give is how to recognize you have received. To give is how to recognize you have received. To give is how to recognize you have received. You have received. You have received. You have your Father's love. Behold His gift to you. Accept your Father's love and give it to His Son. There is no miracle you cannot give. For all are given you, receive them now. By opening the storehouse of your mind, where they are laid, give them away. Give them away. Give them away. Give them away. Give them
Beautiful. Okay, go forth and remember our lessons for today for morning and evening review. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. And on the half hour, to give and to receive are one in truth. Have a blessed day. Shine your light. Love you.